Hi everyone, I'm Autistic Ange. This is a podcast for adults who recently found out they're autistic and are looking for other autistic people like them. So today, it's Monday night and my wife goes back to work on Wednesday, which means tomorrow's her last day of vacation. And this is going to sound rude, but I'm glad she's going back to work because I still don't have my routines back. It's pretty frustrating. I mean, it's not like we're not fighting or anything like that. Like I am gonna, miss her a little bit, but when she goes back to work, but like I need my routines back because I'm gonna lose my shit tomorrow if I don't have a normal day. Like we've been pretty busy. Like there's this episode maybe back towards the beginning, I mentioned like how we've configured our house to suit our needs. So like the living room has been turned into like my room, and then we have the bedroom, and then my wife has her own room. Because we're both introverts and I'm autistic, so I definitely need like my own space. So we've had this set, like we've been here, like 8 years, I think, 9 years. And we've had this specific setup for like 5 years, I think, the last 5. And so the entryway into, I don't know how to describe things, into like what's now my room, there's no door or nothing, because it's an open floor plan type house. So I've had like curtains separating like my room from the rest of the house. And not like, they're not shitty curtains. They're just like those, I don't know how to describe that either. They looked nice. They were classy. They did not look like a hobo lived here or something. Hobos, do they have their own houses? What is a hobo? Does that mean that like you wander and what? Never mind. I got to go look that up later. Anyways, so I don't have curtains anymore because back in September, she had bought me these, I don't know if you call them barn doors or whatever, but they're folding doors. There's like 2 of them and they fold. So that's what she put up for me. And I feel really grateful about that because I have needed doors to my room for so fucking long. It's just I don't know how to make anything. Like, I don't know how to measure. I don't know how to cut stuff so it fits. Like, I don't know any of that stuff, nor do I want to learn because no. So it's basically like I've been waiting for her to have time and motivation to get these doors up for me. So it finally happened yesterday, and she even cut a cat flap into one of them because there's no way I'm not going to have any cats in here. Like, they need to come in and out. But I don't know, like, this might sound really stupid that like my room is the former living room and I have like folding barn doors it doesn't look as bad as it sounds, I guess I should say. I just wanted to share that because like, I'm so happy to have fucking doors like normal people. And the thing that kills me is like her room in the back has a door. She never uses it. She doesn't close the door. She doesn't even close it halfway most of the time. So I'm like, why do you have a room? Like, why do you have a room with no door? But you wanted that room because it had a door. And she used the door for like a month. And that was it. And she's always offered, she's like, we can switch and like, you can have this one. But like her room is like half the size of this. And I'm not giving up space. Sorry. Like, not doing it. I have so much shit up on the walls. I have everything where I want it to be. Like, it would take forever to switch rooms on it. I'm just not going to do it. So I am very grateful that she put these doors up for me. And then today we worked on her room because she's just never been able to get it so that it feels cozy to her. So we did that today. And yeah, I mean, I know that this is like, I probably sound like a broken record, but I really need my routines back. Like, I was almost done with the morning one, and then like it got interrupted. And I still like, oh my God, this is just so annoying that like I get like this when a routine gets interrupted. But like today we did her room And then she had gone to the grocery store earlier. I was still sleeping. And she didn't know that there was a list that was on the fridge. So she didn't get everything that we needed. So after we did her room, I went to the grocery store because there's stuff I really needed, like chocolate, because I don't have any more in the house and I need chocolate. I guess I don't need it. I want it. And, like coffee and stuff like that. So I went and did the grocery shopping. And it was like in the middle of the day. Most people are at work, so it wasn't too busy in there. But then I get home, I have everything, I got to put it away. And, then it's like 3:00. And I know that I start my day later than some people. I don't know. Lately I've been getting up around 10:30. But I don't know how, I can't just go back into a routine. I don't know how to say this. It was 3:00. I hadn't had a full routine. So the idea of working or writing or doing something of that nature, I can't do it. In my mind, most of the day has been interrupted. And I don't get this logically because there's hours left in my day. I don't go to bed till 2 or 3 in the morning. So, even though I have all this time, I feel like my day has to go in a certain order. And if that is interrupted by a chunk of 4 or 5 hours, I can't just go back to what was supposed to be happening at that time. Not that I live my life according to at 2:05 I'm going to do this and at 2:16 I'm doing that. It's not like that. But I think you guys hopefully will understand what I'm talking about. I don't know if there's anybody out there that is like that, you just feel like you've lost your day if the first part of it doesn't go the way it's supposed to, I guess, if that makes sense. I should have just called this podcast If That Makes Sense. I don't know. And then I don't know. I should add that too. So that's not why I'm recording today, but I just wanted an update. And I did tell my wife that I really need tomorrow to be a normal day for me because I will definitely lose my shit. I will. So she promised that it would be a normal day. So actually today, I'll be talking about feelings. And once again, my only other human is my wife. So this has to do with her. So I hope you guys don't mind, but, yeah, I meant to record this the other day, and I think I recorded the routine thing and being irritated about that. So what happened was I don't know, sometime last week, my wife's depression's getting better. She's finally able to connect to feelings longer than she usually can. And, it's left her feeling vulnerable. And, so she is very irritable having these feelings that she now has to explore and deal with. And so, I get upset very easily. And so, I talked about before, how I just was not meltdown city. I don't know how she's still with me. I wish I knew that I'm autistic. I wish I knew that years ago, because that would have made my life way easier and avoided a bunch of conflict that we had early on in our marriage. And then last year, the beginning of the year. Wait, what was I talking about? Why do I always do this? I don't know. Oh, no, I know. It came back. Yeah, so I would just be a complete bitch, or I'd have my meltdowns, and she was the only one around, so she bared the brunt of it. And I will always feel regretful. I'll always feel regretful that I acted like that. So when she gets irritable, I get really upset, and I wish I didn't, because that's really nothing compared to what I was before I went to therapy. That is nothing in comparison, but it doesn't mean that it still doesn't bother me. So, sometime last week, I don't even remember what it was about. I was asking too many questions. So, what did she say? She's like, she figured out that like, well, not that it was a secret, but like I was trying to ask something like 10 different ways because it didn't seem like she understood what I was asking. And then after like the 10th time, she's like, will you stop asking me the same question and just putting it different ways? And I'm like, then answer it. And she was just like, she was like, her tone of voice, she's like very rude, at least my definition of rude. And so when that happens, I shut down, like it's immediate too. Like, sorry that I snapped my fingers if you heard that. So we were in my room last week and she like was rude and I got upset. So now that I know I'm autistic, at least that I know that here's what's going to happen if A, B, C, and D doesn't happen right now. So I asked her to please leave my room. Because for me, I would think that this is like for anybody, but like the source of what caused me to feel upset has to be as far away from me as possible, because I don't know if it's like an energy thing or like, I don't know what that is. But so in the past I'd be like, get the fuck out. Or something that's not nice. And now I was just like, can you please leave? And she's like, are you upset? And I'm like, yeah. And before I would lie about it, but now I don't. So she left and I cried for like half an hour, and I cried because I was crying over something that I thought was stupid. And I know that feelings are valid, but like, seriously, like I got so upset. You know what? And I guess I should preface it with like, that wasn't the first time she was rude to me last week. Like it was like, it happened like several times a day for like 4 days in a row. And that was just the last one I could take. So I was in here, like I said, crying. And when I feel like this, it's like an immediate shutdown. Like I turtle up. I keep to myself. My mind goes to this weird place. Like, okay, I will be very, very mindful of what I'm about to say before I say something. I'm going to stay out of her way so that like I don't cause more irritation. Like I just feel the need to remove myself. Like I'm the big issue here. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know how to explain this. I'm really sorry about my talking. Like it just never works the way I want it to. So if there's words coming out of my mouth and some of them make sense, that's not too shabby. But yeah, I mean, like, this is what it's like for me when I get my feelings hurt. And I've always been told, you need to grow a pair or get some thicker skin or, something like that. Like, I don't know, like, I don't think it's appropriate to just like, and this is not directed toward my wife. This is directed toward all the fuckers that used to pick on me and bully me and shit. Yeah, I don't remember what I was going to say. What the fuck? Oh, my mind is like all over the place. I'm really sorry that this keeps happening. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't remember what I was talking about. Sorry, guys. But anyways, so she came back like an hour later and wanted to talk, and I couldn't. So I told her that, and I figured out that I get somewhat nonverbal when I'm in like shutdown mode. And I don't know if like, is nonverbal the right word to use? Like, I'm not sure, because I can still say things, but I can't say a lot of them. So like, I can pretty much get out like a couple words, but nothing else. I don't know how this is possible, but like, I literally cannot say anything else. And in the past, she viewed that as me stonewalling, and I did too, because I'm like, why am I like this? Like, doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, I was in here. I was crying. I was like, okay, I know I'm autistic. Let me use this to my advantage and try to figure out, like, why am I feeling this way? Like, what does this have to do with, like, autism? And so because, like, I was trying to be a little bit more aware of, like, what is happening in my head during these times. And I think, like, if I can just do that a little bit more often, I can prevent a whole lot of meltdowns. So I should start doing that. But I'm just sitting in here, and then she comes in and I can't talk, and then she leaves, and like then she came back like a few hours after that, and I was embarrassed to tell her that like I guess like I get kind of like nonverbal. And she's like, since when? And I'm like, well, since always, but now we know why. Like in the past, it wasn't like nonverbal. It wasn't viewed that way. It was just viewed as like me being a bitch, which I don't blame her, because I would view it that way too. And now I was sitting in here and I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, I literally cannot talk when I'm upset. Like, it's the weirdest place to be, because it's not like I'm not headed toward a meltdown, but I'm not feeling nice. It's just like an in-between, I guess. I don't know, but I was very surprised to realize that, like, I just cannot talk. And I still can't wrap my mind around how that's possible. I don't understand that. But yeah, so I shared that with her, and we talked about it, and I explained, like, this is what was going on before. It was like I was stonewalling you, but like now that I know I'm autistic, that's not what it is. It's just I can't communicate. I am feeling too much, not a good time. And, like any communication that could happen probably wouldn't be very good, because I'd be pretty emotional. So, it's good to have that information about myself, but also like with anything new that like you learn about yourself, it's like, I don't know, at least to me, it's like, wait, I'm glad I found this out, but I wish I didn't, because now I have the explanation, but now it's like, ugh, all these things that I'm finding out about myself just make me feel weirder and weirder and weirder. But, so yeah, also something else that happened when, like, cause I was pretty hungry. I hadn't eaten all day. I think I was thinking about like making like lunch or dinner or whatever it was. And like my appetite just completely went away. Like I forgot about food for hours. And that's weird to me too. Like that's how strong my feelings are, that like my fucking appetite goes away. Like that's so strange. But yeah, like I used to, when people were mean to me in the past, like let's go back to like my 20s. When people were mean to me in my 20s, I was a fucking bitch. Like there was this one time, I was at Price Chopper, and I was at the spices section. I don't remember what spice I was looking for. Probably parsley, because I put parsley on everything. I don't care if it's a 1990s thing. Like parsley goes on everything. So I was like looking for parsley probably. And like this lady was just huffing and puffing behind me, because like I don't go to Price Chopper. I don't really care for that grocery store, but I ended up going there that day for whatever reason. And it was hard for me to find where things were. And then like the spices section, there's so many. It's not easy to find what I need unless I've gone there multiple times before. So I was taking a while, but I didn't know that anybody was behind me waiting, because I'm usually pretty mindful of that. Like if there's somebody behind me, I immediately move. Like I don't want to be rude. And she must have been having a bad day. She's like, will you hurry the fuck up? And I looked around behind me and I'm like, what? And she's like, hurry the fuck up. And I'm sorry, but there was room for her to stand next to me. Like, she could have stood next to me and looked at the spices. It was a large spice section. And I called her some choice words. And I was very confrontational. And once I felt that I had won, I left. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. I just, so like in my 20s, I did so many things that I can't do now, nor would I want to do now. So that must have just been my brain not developing fully yet. I don't know. But that's how I used to be. Like, if people were mean to me, once I was an adult and I lived on my own and I had gotten tired of people's shit, like, I would just be a confrontational asshole. And now I will not do that. Nope. Like, if somebody was standing behind me waiting for a space and said, like, would you get the fuck out of the way or hurry the fuck up or whatever, I would just be like, sorry, and I'll move. Like, I don't want to fight with people anymore. And like, I didn't grow up with warm and nurturing parents, so I was never taught, like, how to deal with feelings the right way. And, they were kind of like, my mother especially, she was like the culprit behind, like, making me feel like a piece of shit and comparing me to my brother. And, so telling me that I need to have thicker skin, that definitely came out of her mouth. But yeah, I mean, like, once I got into therapy several years ago, like, that all changed for me. I don't act like that anymore. I am so non-confrontational. It would probably be hard to believe that I used to be. Maybe. But finding out I'm autistic helped me understand why I was upset. Then I figured out how to communicate to my wife that I was upset, instead of just yell something at her and like confuse her and then like run off. What else? I calmed down much quicker. I could not believe, like, usually like that will, if I'm in shutdown mode, it doesn't matter if it happens at 7 a.m. It won't stop until at least the next day. Sorry for that. I need a drink of water. I'm almost done. Don't worry. Dry mouth. But yeah. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, calming down. Yeah, I calmed down a lot quicker now. It only took like 6 or 7 hours, and maybe that sounds like a long time, but in autism land, it is not a long time for you to start feeling better. Like, that's a miracle for me. And it only happened because I know I'm autistic, and I know what the fuck's going on. I know what these things are. It's just, awareness is a great thing to have. And I validated myself for how I felt. And I'm usually not very good at doing that because it's still hard to, like, being invalidated for a good portion of your life. It's just, it's hard to get into the habit of like telling myself, like, it's okay that I feel like this. It's okay that I'm in here and I'm upset, because there's still that little voice in my head that's like, you're an adult. You should not be acting like this. This should not be something that, like, you're having to deal with. Like, I don't know how to silence that voice. I'm still trying to figure that out. And also, I did not shut my wife out for hours and hours and hours. And that's something I used to do too, because in my mind, it's like, I need to cut the source off, stay away from it until I feel normal again. And then that would take however long it took. And I didn't do that this time. So, I found out that I go a bit nonverbal during the shutdown, and that was news to me. And now I feel like I want to go down the research rabbit hole of figuring out, like, how is it possible to be nonverbal? I don't understand that. Like, I wish I did, especially when it happens to me. Sorry, I'm just like trying to process this. I'm not going to figure this out now, but I don't know. Like, some things I just cannot understand. Even if they're happening to me, there's just some things I can't understand. Like, also, has anybody ever thought about, like, can you imagine not existing? Like, can you imagine, like, you died of like old age or whatever, and that, like, you just don't exist, like, no conscience, no nothing, like, you're not here anymore. Can you imagine how that, like, I can't imagine what that would feel like or be like. And that has probably nothing to do with what I was talking about, but I just thought of that. Like, it's just something else that I think about on a daily basis. Like, I can't even imagine not existing. So, anyways, yeah, I hope this made some sense. This is the first time I've recorded at night in a while, so maybe I should just stick to the daytime, even though I wanted to do it more at night. But I feel like I'm more coherent during the day, or am I? I'm not sure. Anyways, well, if you're listening, thanks. Okay. This was just me recording to an app on my phone, hoping people find me and listen and relate, have a similar experience to the one I had when I heard myself on somebody else's podcast for the first time. Thank you if you got this far. Sorry if I was all over the place. Goodbye.